Chapter 2.2 Charting. We're going to use the Origin Charting tool to present a wide variety of charts. Again, we're going to use the previous tools that we've explored today, such as the Origin Data Browser and the Locate tool. So let's say we want to locate a specific set of geographies and produce charts for those. Let's look at a scenario whereby we're wanting to create a ward level chart of crime, but only those crime that are, we only want those areas that are above average. So let's say we go to the all wards in Sheffield, and we're going to analyse this data, and we're going to pick Safer and Sustainable Communities domain. If you're not familiar with this analysis tool, I suggest you go and look at chapter 1.2, which details how we use this analysis tool to create subsets or subqueries. So let's say we look at crime and antisocial behaviour, and we want all areas that have a total crime rate that's above average. We're going to use the latest data in the system. So we'll use the Analyze tool to apply a filter to that data. So we're going to say all areas where total crime is greater than, we can see the average is 19.93. And once we apply that filter, we're down to 16 of those geographies. So from within here, I can then do further analysis if I desire, or I can go and start to view data sets and use the charting tools. So if I go to the data browser, let's say we want to use crime data. Although we're not limited to that, we can go and use those geographies to create a map or a chart, such as based on any other data within the data store that I have access to. I will look at, let's say, fire and rescue data, and we're going to view that selection. So first of all, it's presented in simple tabular form. I can then click on the charting tab, which allows me to then pick the most appropriate parameters for my chart. So let's say we want to chart deliberate primary fires, and we want a simple bar chart of that. Alternatively, I can go back and pick another set of indicators. So let's look at the crime this time, and we will view that data, and we can again view that as a chart. So let's look at total crime, and there's a number of charting options available to us. We can first of all select what type of chart we want: indicator series, area series, or time series. So let's say we wanted to do an area series chart, which basically puts each area as a series element and the indicators as the bars. And we can bring in multiples if we want, let's say, vehicle crime and total crime, and that will be generated side by side. I can go and change the format, so if we wanted to do a horizontal chart, or if I indeed wanted to change and do something like a scatter chart, and I must select two indicators to produce a scatter chart. And I can change a lot of other presentation features. So if I wanted to apply, customize for example, how the chart is labelled, chart size, I can also add my own annotations to the chart if that's appropriate. So if I wanted to make a comment about one of the specific points in the charts, I can simply add an appropriate comment. And when a chart is generated, we have a number of functions also available to us. We can save this off as a JPEG format. We can open it in a new window, so allowing me to open multiple charts, or I can share the chart with other users, which is a function I'll go into in more detail in chapter 3.2. So let's say we want to do some time series charts. Let's, in this scenario, go back and actually change our geographic selection, because we want to maybe do a time series comparing a specific ward with the region as a whole. So if I load the geographic selector, let's say we want to do do a time series with Sheffield compared with the central ward, and we're going to again use all the crime data. So in this case I've only got the two geographic areas, but I can simply go into the chart tool. I can pick the time series option, and the system will plot a time series chart based on that. Now there's nothing, in this case it's picked the previous 4 periods, but there's nothing stopping me actually producing a time series of all the data if that's what I wanted to. So other options that are available to us in terms of format is we can do area line, bar, cylinder, marker and spline. We can use a 3D effect on the chart if we wish. We can change the colours and the chart size, which is useful if you're wanting to export the chart for use in other documents. We can change the legend position. By default the legend will appear at the bottom, but there's other positioning aspects for it. I will show scales in a moment, but that's more relevant to bar charts. So there's an area line chart. Let's say again we want to look at an indicator series chart, but we want to plot more than one indicator. So let's say we want to do vehicle crime and burglary and robbery. On the one chart we're going to use fully stacked scales. And the system generates the chart accordingly. And again we can do other customize and publish options, such as changing the titles. We can also apply a calculated line, so if I wanted to run a line through the chart with the average, standard deviation, a sum, or even a manual label, if I wanted to plot my own line, or I can specify different aspects in terms of axis start values and end values, or change the sorting of the chart, which isn't appropriate to this example, but if you were doing a simple chart, you can change how the data is sorted within it. So I've touched on a number of functions. As you can see, there is quite a lot to it in terms of flexibility. We've got flexibility in terms of data, in terms of format, and in terms of customizing.